I would imagine that Duck Hunt Dog is going to try and stay as far away from Marth as possible because Marth has no projectiles, no reflect, just a sword and a shield. Well, not really a shield, but you know what I mean.
A shield, just a sword and a tip. And he's not afraid to use it. And you can see right out the gate is that Cake immediately threw out the can, immediately threw out the sheriff, the town's guards, the shooter boys, and is just creating that distance. And to great effect because Villa is about 80% so far in this match, about 30 seconds in.
Yeah, Duck Hunt has the whole gang coming in to help him fight.
Yeah, oh, a nice kind of preemptive up B by Villa, making sure he gets back to safety, doesn't want to get caught out and edge guarded, but as we say that, he is having some troubles, and a miracle, Cake unfortunately does not get that kill confirmed.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about multi-hit spikes. You have to hit with the spike part of the multi-hit or else it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and right now a little bit of a ping pong, throwing that can back at Cake. Villa knocking on Death's Door, has to avoid the can as best he can, and as you can see, doing its great effect, just shielding that bad boy, and how to plan around the kind of defensive layer Cake has been throwing out.
Can I talk about real quick how the Duck clanks with a sword?
Yeah, that beak is pretty sharp, but apparently it does win out in the end as the Cake does take the first stock of the set on Villa.
Yeah, now Cake has an insane advantage right now because all Cake wants to do is just run away and tack on as much damage as possible before they lose this next stock. And that's one of Duck Hunt's specialties.
Yeah, and because Villa's down, you got to approach, or else you are gonna. I mean, you kind of really have to approach anyway. Oh my god! I don't know why I did the kill spikes, but that was actually amazing to see that kind of bounce back of it. And oh my goodness, the hitbox extended from the discus and actually managed to get the tipper back here on Cake.
You know, Cake did not want that to happen, but Vvilluu, Villa, my bad. Finding the kill, so very good stuff. Evening it up pretty much almost exactly even.
Yeah, smart stuff there. Pretty good awareness to be able to get that, and it's something you're not really expecting because it's really hard to think about like the hitbox extensions on moves that you're just kind of throwing out trying to play defensive with. So caught off guard, and now pretty even across the board between these two.
Oh yeah. And Duck Hunt actually has they can have a lot of trouble killing. Meanwhile, if Marth gets these tippers, Marth can take stocks pretty early.
Yeah, it's either Marth Riotous or you kill it absurdly early. So if Villa can get those sweet spots in, you'll do just fine. But again, the problem is getting him first. Nice up B as Cake misses that aerial and gets punished for it. Trying to get that just the small trades here and there, but it's blown up out of can.
This can putting in so much pressure right now, just going back and forth. He falls out of the upper. That probably would have taken the stock.
Yeah, the poor multi-hits are just not working out for Cake so far in the game. And the deft dodges by Villa surviving, and the shield break to Cake's face for good measure. What the cojones on this man to face death right in the eyes and be unscathed.
I mean, you're either brave or ignorant, so it's one of those two.
You're either stupid or you're brave, and not sure which you did, but we respect it either way.
For sure. Or yeah, for real. And that was so close to being a tipper backer. That would have definitely taken the stock. But the stage spike up B will take Cake's second stock, and now Villa is the one with the stock lead.
Yeah, well, as you say that, it's not for long as Cake finally managed to get that kill. It took him a long time, and Villa briefly took the lead after being down. So that's how you know this is a neck-and-neck match.
That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. While Duck Hunt does have really strong smashes, they still struggle to find the kill because they don't move that fast, and it's hard to get that opening.
Now Villa's kind of getting distracted, hit by the can, trying to get percentages, doing so well so far as, yeah, I really just got to say, Villa's doing a great job being smart and spacing around the defensive walls that Cake is playing around.
Yeah, whenever you're fighting a Duck Hunt, they always, their gameplay is always around the can just because it's such a good option. So if you're able to play around that can better than they are able to, then you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, he's doing pretty good so far, and he's doing well at pressuring Cake near ledge and controlling center stage in, in the past 30-40 seconds. Taken with it, of course gets grabbed into the can combo, getting a pretty good chunk of percentage on board, but again, nobody is out even as this gets a little bit closer.
Villa not going to give it to Cake.
And that was a nice tipper. If he can be really smart about this, the Dolphin Slash surviving, nice air dodge to get away from the can. And I like the pressure pulling out by Cake. Cake pull out the shooter to make sure that Villa had to do something. Be careful, and this is now super scary. Oh, does that actually kill? Oh my God, it does!
That was wild. Villa escaping death by the skin of their teeth multiple times until the very end. And at the that charged shield breaker was actually a tipper, so it did extra damage, and it also hit Duck Hunt's head, which does even more damage and knockback.
Yeah, so he got the perfect, that's how you know he's a Marth player, because he found the perfect spacing to get a tipper shield breaker on Duck Hunt to send him all the way across the stage and take that down to the wire game 1. My goodness.
Shield breaker from the ledge is surprisingly a good option because it's hard to react to, especially online, and the move has almost no end lag. So,
yeah, it's quick, and he's doing it from ledge too, so that's not really an option. You wouldn't really expect a Marth at like 150% to play such an aggressive option, because if he messes up, he dies. And you know, while we're taking the second to get these picks and bans for stages going on, I will say by going back into the tournament, it looks like Cake actually had eliminated Villa earlier in bracket and sent him to losers by winning 2-1. So this could be a situation we saw before, where Villa just takes the next, or where Cake rather takes the next 2 games and wins 2-1, or Villa could have adapted from that loss and is coming back stronger than ever to take this dub.
Yeah, we will have to see. Jumping right into the second match, going to Battlefield. I feel like this is probably Marth's best stage, so I'm kind of surprised that we're going to this, but Cake knows their character better than I do, so let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, traditionally for sorties, they have great... Battlefield is an amazing stage for them when you look at stuff like Ike, Marcina, Cloud. They do well on this stage. But of course, if you're a zoner, like Zelda or Duck Hunt, you can sit underneath that platform, as we're seeing Cake doing, throwing out that forward-facing gunman while shooting can out, and it's really hard for Villa to approach. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, is he's just trying to get around these platforms, trying to be careful, but he's eating percentage.
This is such a strong start by Cake right now, but last game Villa had a deficit and still managed to come back.
Yeah, this is kind of similar how it happened before, but again, Villa needs to just take his time. It'll all work out. Get himself off of ledge and start getting himself on the board.
This is so much pressure and damage by Cake right now.
Yeah, this is a very sizable lead for him, so he just needs to play it smart.
It drops the ledge trap, only tacking on a minor amount of damage.
There's not much. Cake wanted to get the conversion with that throw to the can, but not quite finding it. The up air, though, will do the trick, as he has barely been scathed on this first stock of his.
Yeah, only 17%. That's pretty much one Marth move or throw combo.
Yeah, that's like one tipper. Not a lot on board, but hey, if anything we learned from that last game is that Villa can come back from this just fine, even if it gets kind of spooky, kind of scary looking.
It's just such a strong position for Cake right now because, like I was saying in the previous match, Duck Hunt is really good at just running away, especially on a stage like this where they can hide underneath platforms.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why Duck Hunt would want to go to the stage. It's a great way to just, hey, maybe I need a little bit more cover. Let me just put a couple platforms in front of me, and we'll see how we can do it.
That's so much damage. The double clay pigeon into the backer.
Yeah, he's done a great job for himself so far. Basically has lapped Villa in percentage. So Villa just needs to relax a little bit, but as he gets caught out with the roll to an up smash, he finds himself down 2 stocks as Cake doing pretty well for himself. A lot different than what we saw in game 1.
Yeah, and the deficit for Villa just keeps on growing. Villa not able to find any way to take this first stock, by Cake. Even going down, does not get the tech though. Villa finds the first stock.
Yeah, finally puts himself on the board. A long way to go if he wants to find himself winning with a 2-0 though, as trying to find his best way to just navigate the maze of moves.
That was a very smart up B by Villa right there. If your combo is not frame perfect, Marth and Lucina can up B out of it because of frame 1 invincibility.
Good to know, and we've seen Villa using that up B a few times there just to kind of get out of stuff and kind of surprise Cake to get percentage. And now we're just seeing some trades, which if you're Villa, you don't want to do because you are down so far.
If I was Villa right now, I'd try and find some way to cheese with like a tipper forward smash or early gimp with back air or side B.
Yeah, just get him off stage, maybe see what you can do.
Have you seen how early Marth side B kills?
Yeah, it can kill this percentage.
Yeah, on this stage too.
Very scary. I mean, he is 2 for 2 in getting those Cake missing this stage deck rather, and getting that stuff. So let's see what he can do. Yeah, that's a little bit of a risky forward smash. Gets punished by the Duck Hunt up smash, and that is the first game for Cake as he ends it up 1-1.
And that was a dominant performance by Cake. This time, Villa didn't didn't fall out of any of Cake's kill moves like the spike or the up air, and Cake just looked really strong that game.
Yeah, there was a stark difference from what we saw in game 1. It was down to the wire. It was much more Cake controlling the space and doing very well for himself to secure that W. So, but now Villa has the opportunity to go to a stage counter pick. Maybe he realizes even the battlefield's good for Marth. Maybe it's not good to fight versus zoners, and kind of calculates from there.
It makes you wonder what kind of counter pick would be good for this matchup then, because if you have a wide stage, Duck Hunt just has so much room to run around with. But if you pick a small stage like Battlefield, well, we just saw what happened.
Yeah, and I'd imagine Cake maybe... I mean, we'll see if something like Smashville's open, because even though you can camp under that central platform, it's all about controlling that center stage, and if Marth can get it, it means that Duck Hunt doesn't really have a lot of options. So, of course, we can't always see the picks and bans, so we're not really sure what's going through these competitors' heads. But at the same time, we're going to get ourselves into this next match soon, and we can kind of reverse engineer from the stage pick to their thoughts. It's a fun process.
Also, I appreciate how Cake picked the dog from Mother instead of
put some
dog.
put some Boney. Put Boney's name. Put some respect on it, because that's a good dog. That's the best boy right there.
All dogs are good boys and girls. All dogs are good dogs.
And actually, we're getting the salty run back to Battlefield, which is such an interesting pick because Villa struggled on this.
Yeah, well, this is a really good Marth stage, so I feel like if Villa is able to find the first stock, then it'll be a stark different from what we saw the last game.
Yeah, so I mean, right off the gate, he does have more percentage than he got in that entire first stock. So you might just be right. Maybe since he picked it, he has the power up from it. Nice parry on the Gutman. That's a flex. This is a different man. This is a different player all entirely.
On
like, yeah, my
too?
goodness.
All
yeah, on
right.
Wi-Fi? Ooh, he's nice.
He's with it. I'm with it. Let's go. Yeah, already such a like, what are the right words for this? It's such a good start for Villa compared to the last game.
Difference. Yeah, it's black and white because Villa's edge guarding a lot smoother. He's kind of putting Cake in these positions and getting more on the board. He has the lead. He's doing better stage control and really understanding what to do and what not to do. So props to him just making those mental adjustments and putting him to the test. Okay, wow, yeah, that's really unfortunate though. He just bopped the can and ate some percentage for it, which is what you don't want to see, but what can you do?
Well, that's what Marth gets for being able to hit on platforms.
That's also true. Villa getting bopped by the can once more as he tries to get that down tilt. Gets grabbed in the process, and now the percentages are a lot closer, kind of what we saw against game 1.
Oh, that's another thing that Marth has on this stage. If he up-Bs underneath the top platform, there's pretty much no end lag because they land on the top platform.
Yeah, it's like similar to stuff like Cloud up-B, where you can just kind of drop down and you're good to go.
But Cake, mounting this comeback right now, not really taking too much damage for the past 30 seconds.
Yeah, managed to avoid getting the snipe, and again, an early preemptive up-B to get himself out of there. Has to be very careful, though.
Yeah, I feel like Duck Hunt has to be careful about gimping Marth because that frame 1 up-B invincibility is nothing to laugh at.
For sure, and as we see, Villa at 136% gets a nice tipper to get Cake off stage. How is he going to get the edge guard, though? Tries to find the up-B, not quite finding it as Cake hugs the stage to get back up to the ledge. And this is a very careful song and dance between these two competitors.
Oh, Tipper Nair going to take it from center stage.
My goodness, I have never seen that before. That was a great way for Villa to gain the lead, but he might lose it real quickly as he falls into the clay pigeon. And these guys are duking it out neck and neck this entire set. My goodness, now we know why they went 2-1 in the previous set they played earlier in the bracket.
Yeah, first match that we're commentating, and it's already this close.
Yeah, this is a bloodbath. These guys are trading stocks for stocks. As Cake had found a dominant game 2, but Villa just leveled up real quick and found himself with a very close game 3 at the moment.
Yeah, Both players just establishing their neutral, trying to find an advantage over the other. Throws Villa off the stage.
Yeah, very careful stuff as he's just finding himself bombarded by all the projectiles that Cake is bringing out and assaulting him with. Yeah, one clay pigeon, and up B does manage to get him away scot-free, thank goodness. That was actually a very scary forward smash.
Yeah, that was a tipper. That would have probably killed Duck Hunt twice.
Yeah, clay pigeon conversions coming out from Cake, not coming to full fruition on that third one, but still, great percentage to have as how many times can I keep saying these guys are tied? Because this is just so back and forth, so neck and neck this entire game. And my goodness, catching him out with the sliding forward tilt tipper on Marth, absolutely immaculate from Villa. Again, finding himself in the lead, and if he can get some extra credit and hold on with it, he can take the set and get the run back he wanted.
Yeah, the sliding forward tilt is just so smooth. But yeah, now Cake is the one that is forced to approach, and Villa does not have to force anything right now.
Yeah, just has to be careful with how he gets back to stage. His recoveries all game have been pretty solid. Yeah, look at his routes. They're very, very refined. It makes it very good for himself. Nice, gets a free little grab on Cake, and it's a little baby bits of percentage here too, but this is still so scary because one stray hit can end his stock if he's not careful.
Right. And one thing I like that Villa's doing right now is avoiding these grabs. Duck Hunt Cake has been putting on all this pressure with the can and the gunman, trying to force Villa into shield, but Villa not letting Cake get this grab.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job right now. 63% is when things get kind of real, as there's a noticeable trend. Villa just almost says see you later and dips, but he decides, nah, I want to keep playing this one out. And he's avoided so many grabs, so many cans for the past, minute, but finally that's one is all it takes. Cake, it gets the conversion, 63% down. This is a last stock game 3 situation.
Yeah, so considering how this third game has been playing out, this is a strong lead for Villa.
Yeah, doing pretty well for himself so far. He does need to be careful though, because when he's at ledge, Duck Hunt can play his game. Already though, getting some ledge traps, recovering just fine, and he just needs to keep playing around Cake if he wants to come out with that win. And a lot of quick percentage on board. Nice, again, the forward tilt tipper, sending Cake off stage. What's he gonna do?
Now it's about even.
Yeah, it's very close.
But the kill differential is still in Villa's favor because Marth's tipper are super strong still.
Yeah, if he can get himself just one good tipper, he can get himself the win. But he has to be so careful. And you can see him just playing around it. And I will say, there's a minute left on the clock. If these guys are gonna go to time, they're gonna go to time.
It might. I don't think it will, but it could.
Cake blows himself up with his own candle. That sliding forward tilt actually looked like it could have been a tipper, could have been it if that clay pigeon wasn't there. Villa gets grabbed. He's a little bit too scared on there. The up air, he falls out of it again, just like game 1. He has a second chance on life.
That is so unfortunate for Cake. So yeah, 30 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds on the clock, about 20% between these two. Villa is a master at
Wait,
stuff. He up-B, but there's no punish from Villa as he's a little bit too scared to get in there. The can blows them both up, back and forth, 30% difference with 20 seconds left on the clock. If I was Cake, I don't know, I would just keep running away. But with that forward tilt, is it enough to kill? It's not enough to kill. 10 seconds left. If Villa doesn't get the kill, he's not going to be able to get the 40%. And
oh no!
With the same trick, yeah, he almost tried to pull it together with the same trick he got from game 1, but Villa could not pull it out, and Cake, the wiser one, managed just to double eliminate Villa to make it into loser side of top 32 tonight.
That was so close. That could have gone either way. If Cake was a little bit slower in throwing out that forward tilt, Villa would have got that the charged shield break on Villa.
Yeah.
On